No code is not a set it and forget it feature in your business. These are tools that need constant updating because they are live documents like SOPs in your business. This doesn't mean you need to be updating them every single minute, but there are some general tips that you can start using so that you can actually continue to save yourself more time and avoid further headaches down the line when you're implementing some of these automations. So if you want to figure out how to best upkeep your automation so they can continue working for you in the long term, you've come to the right place. Let's get to it. Hey, how's it going? This is Eric with Solve Cycle Solutions. If you're new here, I help save people time by automating the work that they hate with no code and AI-based solutions so that they can focus on what they love instead. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how to start saving and documenting your automations and how to properly maintain and upkeep them so that you can use these automations and change them as your business grows and develops. So this is not going to be one of the sexier build topics that you may see, but I think this is a really important core piece of information that no one really talks about, myself included, on YouTube. So what am I talking about with upkeep and update? Well, let's look into my screen here because you'll see that this is a setup that I actually built out in a previous video for automating to-do lists with AI. I'll be sure to put a link in the video up here somewhere, but you'll see that I have the 3 tasks that I'm looking for on a daily basis, but the day of this recording is December 27th, and there's this error going on where I'm still seeing yesterday's to-do list. I'm not seeing today's. The point of showing this particular error is not to show you that automations don't work. It's to show that they require refinement as your business goes along. These processes may initially seem like they're set it and forget it, but that's not really the case. These automations actually are kind of living documents. So they're similar to things like standard operating procedures you would have for a business so that anyone can come in and start doing this particular task. You want to be able to have a proper documentation or organization so if something breaks, you can quickly identify what that issue may be, because you may be setting automations like this for a year and not remember how to set this up again or how to fix it if something breaks. Going back to the main point of this video is that I'm going to show you what I'm starting to implement in my own system of recording and updating these processes, and then show you how I'm implementing these changes and some of the best practices that I'm going to be implementing to make sure that my automations are working correctly. We're going to focus on this particular process because I don't actually have a written out plan for this. So I want to record this entire automation from when a task gets created to having AI pull out this information, and then from there figuring out how to update or add additional notes that may be relevant in the future. So to do this, I actually have set up in my own SmartSuite database what's called a control panel. So the control panel is inspired by Layla Pomper's process-driven channel and how she writes and organizes SOPs. I found this channel very helpful, and I'm going to put a link to her channel as well as in the description. So please check her out if you're looking for specific help writing SOPs and business organization and processes. I'm the automation builder. I'm not necessarily an SOP writer, so I'm trying to give her credit where that's due. So looking ahead, you'll see that I have a couple of things for purpose. This is something that, again, was set up by process driven. But what I really want to focus on are specific tasks that I may have. You'll see here that I have a handful of operational tasks. I've just written down the automation title. Now, there are a couple of different things that I have set up. These could be actual SOPs that I'm trying to hand off to other people in my business. Automation maps, which is supposed to list out all the steps that an automation is done through SmartSuite or Make or something else. templates for language that I tend to use or trying to use it as placeholders, different decisions trees, and even AI prompts is something that I've started to record inside of SmartSuite. I basically want to use this as a library so that I can access this information and link it to particular tasks that I can pass on to other members of my team, or have this so that I can quickly reference an automation if a task is not working properly. So I've gone ahead and set up this filter to go back and only pull up things that have the automation map category, and just double checking that a lot of the processes that I have are all, some of these are operational still, and some of these are needing revision here. These are things I'm going to have to dive into a bit more later. But if I were to create a new form, I have a framework set up here where we want to make sure that the purpose is set up here, and we can list the processes down here, and then any additional frequently asked questions or possible updating notes that we want to record here. So in some cases, this could be like a wiki for my business in searching for this particular information. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this particular task, and I'm also going to pull up make to pull up the AI prompt that we have so that we can make sure that this is all good to go. So this is the exact breakdown of the task that I have. And one of the things that I will admit is that I don't always have time to write every exact step down. So I'm going to be taking a little bit of a cheat here, and I'm going to be using ChatGPT to edit this prompt. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to export the blueprint for this particular video. And what I'm going to do is I have written a prompt here that shows the role that the AI is having, writing a detailed task explaining what we're trying to get, as well as providing some formatting and giving an example on a previous process that I have already written out. From there, I've also uploaded the blueprint. So all I have to do now is hit send. It's going to analyze all this information. And what I should be able to do is actually just review this and make edits as necessary here. So I have a purpose that I've set up, the tools that I'm going to be using, and then this breaks down the list of all the tasks that this is going to be setting up. We have some additional notes here, such as what happens if there's no tasks that match the criteria, and then even some troubleshooting. So this is all very practical and allows me to quickly map out all the information I need inside of this process. So now I can go back to my control panel, and I'm going to create a whole new task here that basically is just going to be listed as daily task assignment AI. And if I save and open this particular step, there it is down there, I can copy and paste this entire prompt and have it set up here so that it is completely, I'm able to completely look at this and see all of those steps set up in here. So this is one aspect of the task that is done. This is clearly the start of the task, and it's going to end with creating the exact task inside of SmartSuite. So what I want to do in this particular process is there's an additional step that I need to get set up, and that is the step that I actually want to modify and edit with this end of the day process. I just have the beginning of the day process. So I've gone ahead and edited this so that it shows the beginning of the day, and I've put all of that information that ChatGPT created for me underneath this particular heading so that I can differentiate this in the beginning step and the end of the day step. We don't really need to change anything with the beginning of the day. The issue is figuring out what is wrong with this automation at the end of the day. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and start copying the information from the automation that I currently have set up inside of SmartSuite. And I'm going to just pull this up real quick here, because what we're looking for is end of the day reminder, which is what I have set up. And you'll see that this only goes to the daily to-do list, repeats every day at 6:30 p.m. And then I have a search filter that's supposed to help rule out things for like the weekend, so this doesn't just run or get stuck, and then updates this so that it's not the record for today, but it's marked as this week, where I can then review my daily tasks for the week if I need to. So let me go ahead and write this prompt real quick, and then we'll cut to where I am at the end of this. So not a whole lot that I needed to write here, but you can see that at 6:30 p.m., this automation is supposed to run. SmartSuite will search for any records listed as today, and if any are found, the record will be updated from today to this week, marking it as not as in the past. So the problem is that this automation is just, for whatever reason, even though it is running and saying that it was successful, it's still leaving records up as open and not taking care of it till later. So I want to take a look and see if I can find what's happening here. And you'll see that I can click over into the details of this particular automation and see what was found. So this ran yesterday on December 26th at 6:30 p.m. And it's saying that it found the automation of December 25th, which is weird because it should be finding the record that is here for today. So that indicates there may be something wrong with this particular search function where it says the due date is today. So I did a little digging, again, more just as I don't want to talk to myself too much and look too much like a crazy person on these videos, and I don't think those are fun to see just quietly muttering to yourself. But I think I realized what the issue is, that for whatever reason, the due date is acting weird here because it's finding whatever the due date is available. I shouldn't be looking at it for the due date. I should actually be looking for the specific status. So if I did, my status is listed as archiving work, we're looking for anything that is listed as today because that's the priority here. So if I were to save this, then this should go in and replace that, because we're not wanting to update the actual date, we're wanting to update the status. So if I were to save this, that means this is going to run now at 6:30. But let's do a little bit of fiddling around. So this obviously is done for today. But if I were to go in and just test this automation so that it is currently a little after 3, I'm going to try and, I can only set this for specific time intervals. So I'm going to mark this for 3:15, and I'm going to save this automation. And I'm going to cut back to this once that time is run, but then try and just close out the rest of this video from here. So while I'm waiting to test this automation to be as efficient as possible, I want to break down some additional tips I have for maintaining your automations. The first automation that you build, or when you first implement it into your solutions or your workflows, there are going to be some necessary adjustments that you need to make. So I would recommend, as you are testing this out, wait at least a week or two to see how these processes are working. If you're getting specific errors in for specific processes, update them and then notate that in your process document here. Additionally, it may help to have something done on a quarterly basis so that you can go in and also specify make sure that what you're working with, the automations are working properly. And that can be something as simple as logging what error flows are happening from your automation tools like Make or Zapier, or it may also be keeping an eye out for when errors occur inside of your database software like in SmartSuite or Airtable. If you don't fix those in the moment, or if something needs to change, taking at least a quarterly basis may be a good time to pause, see where you're going about things wrong or where things need to be adjusted. This could also be a good time to assess on what softwares may have changed in that time frame and even what may not be necessary anymore. So the reason you want to do this, again, is to help you set up a process that works for you so that you're not just spending money with someone or wasting a bunch of time for a process that only works for 2 weeks. And then once it stops working, it's not just, oh, it's broken, there's nothing I can do. It's recognizing this mindset of that no code and AI are not set and forget. They require upkeep. That's not always the fun thing to say or be the one to tell you about, but it is really important that you add this to your automation features or your automation build out so that you know once something is implemented, how you can quickly go in, identify issues, and fix things. All right, so I waited the necessary time to have the automation run itself, and I can confirm that the dashboard is empty for me because there is nothing set up in the records anymore. So I can also double check inside the automation setup here under the end of day reminder, and you'll see that it takes a minute to load this properly, but we do have the automation that ran today on the 27th. And then from there, we have the daily task record was found as we anticipated, and it was updated. So everything here now works. So all I've had to do is just add an additional step or an additional FAQ here down at the bottom saying if the SmartSuite automation is not updating the necessary records or waiting a day, because this is an exact problem that we've had. We can specify this may require to update the fix point from the due date to the status. We should only be focusing on searching for the today status because there should only be one at a time. I hope you got a ton of value out of this video. I know this is much more of a knowledge-based explanation than some of my normal ones, but I still think that this is really important, and this is helping me also get more responsible with my own automation build. So trying to get that set up is, as you can see, very vital for any business. So again, be sure to click the links in the description for learning more about how to write SOPs and format documents the way that you want. But if you need help implementing automated solutions, I would love to invite you to a free 30-minute consultation. This is a no strings attached call so that we can see what you need getting to prioritize in your business, or even looking at how you can start automating your services or even fix something you may already have set up. So click the link in the description or scan the QR code floating somewhere around my head and see how much time I can save you in just 30 minutes. Well, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you got a ton of value from this video. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if you have any comments, questions, or requests, please leave them in the comment section of this video. I'll try and address them as soon as I can. And as always, continue to keep building smarter.